Hi everybody, I'm going to talk about my socioeconomic topics. This is for my oral classes, so I'm going to start with one socioeconomic topic that is gay marriage. This topic is very controversial because not everybody accepts that. In this time, it's normal to see that some couples between men and men or woman and woman are trying to get married. So in some countries this is not permitted, it's not allowed, but in other countries, for example, the United States is normal. It depends on the state. In other countries, it's penalized the gay marriage. So in Ecuador, nowadays, the gay marriage is permitted between men and woman and woman. Even it is allowed. Some people doesn't want to. Some people don't want to talk about it or don't agree with that because they believe that it is not normal that someone get married with someone else from the same gender. So I think that if this is it is not important gender. If you are falling in love to someone else, you had to do it. So no one else had to give their opinion or had to be doing some problems in order to avoid your marriage. So that is my point of view about gay marriage. Now, my next topic, I'm going to talk about politics. Here in Ecuador, we have terrible problems nowadays with politics because our president is trying to do something like a dictatorship. Maybe I think that it's not normal that the president wants to do everything that he wants. It's not normal that he didn't or he don't pay attention to the laws. He tried to do everything as he wants, and sometimes he abuse of his power, even avoiding the laws, because sometimes he's the person who said if another person is guilty or it is innocent. So who can do another thing against the president? No one, because if you don't have the same way of thinking that the president you are against, and you are his enemy, and everyone that he is his enemy is treated like a traitor or the worst person in the world. We have to be careful with the people that we choose as president or as our representatives in our country or in our province or in our town, because this person could abuse of this power that the people gave him. So my advice is be careful with your vote. Go and vote with your mind very clear. Don't think about that the most popular is the person that has to be our president or representative. So that's all that I had to talk about politics. Now my third topic, it's gonna be women and work. It's not normal. Well, how I can say it. It has to be normal to see women working at the same time or in equal condition as men, but it's not normal in our society because we live in a machismo society. All the people believe that not all the people, most of the people believe that men do a better job than women, or some women don't believe in themselves. For that reason, they don't have the opportunity to work or to do a job in a better way, or show us that they are very intelligent, they are competent, they could do any job that we put it to her. So who can help us with this problem? Just ourselves, because if we start to do something in order to avoid this problem of machismo and feminism, because I believe that this problem is also caused by women. It's not just by men. Women don't want to do an effort in order to avoid it, or don't do their best effort, because some women are doing something about that. But I think that if they do a better job, they can avoid machismo in our society. In my next topic, I want to talk about that something that is very sad. Last month, in France, they suffered a terrorist attack that affect to all the entire world. It's not just against France; it's against the freedom of speech. This terrorist attack was against the magazine Charlie Hebdo. We had to know that the people that was in charge of this terrorist attack was the Islamists, people that believe that Mahoma is their god. So it was terrible. I don't understand why people do that. They had to attack some innocent people. They had to kill them. Some cases, the people that was killed was not responsible about the commentary that someone else do in the magazine against Mahoma. I know that this magazine is a satiric magazine where they play with some jokes in their in their illustration. But in this case, Islamists don't take like a joke or like something without importance. They feel very upset about this illustration that they present in their last magazine. So they counterattack with this terrorist attack where 12 people died, where amount of people were injured, and not just the country, not just the province, all the world feel affected about it, because you don't know if it really can happen to you also if you say or do something that other person or other people believe that it's not good. Imagine that it could happen in your home, in your neighbor, in your block. That was terrible. Now, another topic, my next topic is about religion. This topic is very controversial because with the last Pope, no, with Francisco, with Benedict XVI, they have a terrible problem where some priests were accused of pedophile or some problems. Even to be taking some money from the people in an illegal way, and they were gaining money, and that is not good for the church, for the religion. It's imperative to know that the most famous religion is Catholic, and they have this terrible problem. And the most important part of this problem is that the Pope, the last Pope, Benedict XVI, knows about this problem, and he didn't do anything in order to fix this problem. Instead of that, he quit to his charge as the Pope, and he left this problem to the new Pope that we have now, Francisco I. And until now, this problem is not solved. Nothing about this problem is public. All of this problem they are managing in a private way. So not much people know about what happened with this accusation, with this problem. So it is the responsibles of this big problem that the religion has, where accused as guilty or as innocent. We didn't know anything about that. Something else. No. Well, a new topic that I have to talk about today also is the quantity of problem that teenagers have nowadays in order to enter to the universities. Nowadays in Ecuador, the young people have a lot of problems to enter to the university because they have to pass two terrible exams. They have to study too much. I know that it's normal that we have to study a lot in order to improve our knowledge or get a good career, but the system is not working in a good way. They started from their feet, if I can use that expression. They had to start by the other side of the education. They started with universities, later with high school, and later with college. But that was not a good idea. They had to start first of all with kindergarten, later with high school, later with college, at the end with university, in order to create a new generation of students that they can aboard this new program with exams and all of this kind of thing in order to enter to university. And even though if you have a good punctuation, you could not be accepted in your university. Sometimes some students have to go to some university that they don't want to go, or they have to choose careers that they don't want to study in order to get a spot inside of the university. Well, my next topic is about the problems between Cuba and United States. They have had terrible problems since Cuba revolutions once in La Habana. Fidel Castro started to be the president of Cuba, but nowadays with Raúl Castro as the new president in charge of Cuba, this problem was being solved because they broke this barrier that they had before, and they start to work together. For example, nowadays United States is able to negotiate with people from Cuba and vice versa. Also, they take out this terrible tax that they put to the dollar, the American dollar, and they don't nowadays they are not asking some special permission that costs too much money to Americans to go there and visit and do some tourism in the island. So I believe that is a good change because people from Cuba, they don't have a good life there. They suffer a lot in order to get some money, and they can not have some special things as cellulars. That is a good option to not just for social network, it's for communication in general. So that's all about this topic. My last topic is terrible storm, the winter storm that United States is suffering nowadays, especially Boston, Denver. They are covered now by 2 meters of snow because the storm is terrible and it wasn't signals to the storm is gonna stop it, so they are prepared for that. But even though they have terrible problems with that, they cannot go to the school, they cannot walk to work, they are losing a lot of money, they are losing a lot of time. Thanks to God that they don't die. Now until now, not much people died for this storm, but if this storm is gonna continue, this average of people that could die for this storm will increase. That is terrible. Well, that is all that I have to talk about socioeconomic problem that we have nowadays. So thank you so much for hearing, and sorry for everything. Hi everyone, I'm going to talk about my socioeconomic topics today. So I'm gonna take the advantage and I'm going to talk about a lot of topics because I don't have time to do a lot of videos and join it. So my first topic it's gonna be about the hooligans, how the hooligans are very harmful to the society. Hooligans are famous because they are fans of any sport team, soccer sport team to be exact. For example, the most knowledge people, the most knowledge hooligans are from the Liverpool or from Chelsea. But here in Latin America, you can know about Sao Paulo, Brazil, or you can know Boca Juniors to Argentina, or here in Ecuador you have some hooligans such as Barcelona, La Azul Oscura. So all of these fans are very aggressive between another fans or another fanatics of the soccer and of other soccer team. So the problem that they have is because they sometimes harm some innocent people. For example, we have to remember that some years ago someone died in the stadium Banco Pichincha where was the soccer game between Barcelona and Emelec was 3 years ago, if I'm not having a mistake. They were losing the match. Emelec, one fan started to throw up some Bengals against to the another hooligan. So in this case, a little child died because the Bengal hits him in his head. So every time that I remember that, I feel so sad because I am a Barcelona fan, but I think that I never could do that I don't know what they are thinking about. What does fanatism means? This is not fanatism. This is a crazy thing. I don't know how I can classify it, but they are crazy. I don't know. I don't understand why harming innocent people could help you or help to your soccer team to win a game. So they are wasting their time and they are thinking as I think that they are a bunch of assholes. So that's all. Now I'm going to talk about what's the transformation that the soccer had during the time. For example, when the soccer was invented, I am talking maybe 200 years or a little bit more. It was a game for kings, for dukes, or for the royalty to be exactly. Not everybody can practice it. Nowadays, everybody is practicing it. I mean, it doesn't matter if they don't have money or if they are poor or if they are rich. No, more than that, the people that can see it or can enjoy the soccer match, it's various. It's not for just a little part of the humanity, mankind. So they are they are they are transforming this soccer scene. Before they were very strict with some rules, but they don't have much rules. So year by year they have to add some rules in order to try to do a best spectacle for the viewers, or in order to avoid some lessors or injuries during the game, because sometimes sometimes players are very hard the moment that they are playing. In this case, some injuries, terrible injuries, were avoided. So they want to avoid that. Nowadays, we can see that some soccer teams try to have their own rules in order to punish some players that they don't have a fair play. The fair play is the most important thing that the FIFA is. Sorry, the FIFA wants to improve into the soccer place, because they want to show to the viewers that they can do it better. For example, nowadays it is terminally prohibited in a soccer field that the racism could exist. So they have a great campaign against racism. Because I remember that once when Brazil soccer team was playing in another country, I remember that a fan yelled to Dani Alves, "Mataco," and that is a terrible word for people from Brazil, because it's too racist. It's like to say nigga to someone else, to a black man in United States. It's too racist. So this kind of thing the FIFA wants to prohibit it. So I am agree with that, because it's a good point of view from FIFA to help in this way to the people, to avoid the racism. Now I would like to talk about the people that is addicted to the gymnasium. I don't know why. Well, I cannot say that the people is addicted to the gymnasium, because it's good in some parts to go to the gym, but the people will be addicted not to the gymnasium, but just to the some pills or some medicaments that they use in order to increase their volume of muscles in their body, or they try to feed or shape up with some pills to reduce their weight. So see, this is dangerous because this kind of pills or medicine sometimes don't do a good job, and you abuse of them in order to try to get a best a best results. So when you abuse of this kind of medicine, you can have terrible problems in your health, because nothing is good when you take it too much. Now, my last topic, and the most important, I think, is social networks. Well, I don't know if I'm going to talk too much about that, but I want to take my time, because it's too large to talk about some social networks. We have some good things about that. For example, we have to know that it's easily to communicate more than a telephone from your house, or more than a cell phone, because sometimes you don't have money, or you don't have credit in your cell phone. But if you have a connection with Wi-Fi, or if you have a connection by a database, you can use it. So most of the people, especially younger people, are using more social network than mail. Even mails, people are not using now just for work or for studies, in order to send some documents or send some homework. But even in social network, you can send homework, you can send files, you can send videos, music, etc. um, there is something good for the social network, but the problem starts when people that are using these social networks uh, don't know how to use very well. For example, they could be damaged with some virus inside of this social network, because they don't know very well what is the level of security from the social network, and they don't know what is the other people sending. So in this case, nowadays, there is a virus in Facebook and Twitter that you can see an image, you can see a porn image, and if you click there, your device is damaged, because they have a Trojan virus that can take out your information from your computer. Maybe your Google account, Facebook account, all of your accounts, or in the worst case, they can take out your ID card, or they can take out your ID credit card, or your account bank card. So they can steal some money too with that. No, it's not just for fun that they can do that. It's also in order to try to steal some money or make some money with your problem. So I always recommend to the people to be careful with that, because it's not a good idea to to lose your money or your privacy just with a virus in your computer. You have to be careful. You have to learn a lot about the social network that you are using. For example, nowadays, when you create a new account in Facebook or any social network, at the beginning they show you the contract that you have, as that you are accepting all of this at this point. But I I am really sure that more than 90% of the people that create a Facebook account never read all the contracts. I don't do it. I didn't do it, so I can say that now in this year, well, actually last year, I read it by complete, and I understand that we don't have privacy in Facebook because some parts of the agreement say that all the things that you upload to Facebook is not from your property, it's property of Facebook. So if you upload a photo and you can see this photo in as in a commercial in another part, you cannot demand to Facebook because that you accept at the beginning when you create an account that this photo is not from your property, it's from Facebook's property. So I love this kind of thing that in the agreement exists. You have to be careful with that. So that is all about the social network. And nowadays, the last topic is communication or media communication. For example, the most important radios and television, but now we don't have just these two. We have also the internet, because internet is the most important media communication in this world that we are living now. But in our country, in Ecuador, we have terrible problems with media communication because President Correa doesn't want to permit to every media communication talk about what they want to talk. So they cannot say anything against the government, because if they are against the government, Rafael Correa tried to censure this media, or try to to I don't know, try to shut the fuck up these media. So something that we are seeing, we are watching right now in our country is the problem that President Korea has against the Facebook web page called Crudo Ecuador. This page always are making some memes against the government because some people had to do it. I agree with this Facebook web page because I don't like the government, but I don't believe that the president had to do this kind of thing. The person that is doing that is just seeing that point of view of the government, and if we have a freedom of expression, they have to be quiet, the president, and say nothing, because it's not their problem if it is not agreeable for everyone. So President Correa tried to close this web page because it's against of him. Sorry, and I don't like to see this kind of thing in some news from other countries. For example, I noticed that last week, this program with John Wilmer make a triple joke about the President Korea because it's an immature that he didn't know what to do against Crudo Ecuador, or he's behaving such like a baby or like a child with some complaint with his mom or something. I don't know how I can explain it, but it's terrible the image that the president of our country is giving to other countries in the region. Now I had to say goodbye. That's all that I had to talk with you. So thank you for seeing this video. Bye. Good evening, guys. I'm going to talk about alcoholism. Alcoholism is a broad term for problems with alcohol, and it's generally used to mean compulsive and uncontrolled consumption of alcohol beverages. So, for example, you start to drink a lot of beer or a lot of wine or rum, vodka, etc., and you don't notice at the beginning that you are an addict people for alcohol, and you start to drink a lot every day, day by day, and you didn't notice that your body needed the alcohol. The problem with the alcoholism is that the people who is alcoholic make a lot of things in order to obtain the alcohol. Sometimes they had to steal, they had to prostitute themselves, but it's terrible because this problem is not for adult people. This problem started with young people, with teenagers, when they are in high school or in the universities. Sometimes they think that if they start to drink, they are gonna be cool and they are gonna be a great kind of person. So I think that is a problem of society where they live, because they don't have the capacity to understand that the alcohol is not good for their bodies, it's not good for the relationship that they can obtain with alcohol. Sometimes when people are intoxicated with alcohol, they do a lot of things that they never can do it without alcohol. For example, they could be aggressive, or they could be maybe, I don't know the word, but they could be very aggressive in order to kill someone else or to hurt people. Sometimes even her relatives or some people that they love or they take care. This is terrible, because in our country, in Ecuador, we can see that in some states alcoholism is too high. The level of alcoholism is too high. For example, in Latacunga, it's very high. You can see a lot of alcoholics in the streets, and it's not a good face that the state wants to share it to the world or to the country. So I think that this problem it's involved with all the kind of problem that we have in this society. So we have to do something in order to disappear this problem. Thanks, guy. Good morning. My point of view about if government had to invest some money in order to help the high schools with some art classes, I agree with that, because it's necessary for all the people to know something about art. It's something cultural that could help them in order to have a general knowledge about life, about art, or about music. I don't know. It is important to have another thing to talk about with someone else. It's not just about your signature or your career. You have to know everything in your life, especially some cultural things like art or music or movies, etc., etc.